Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Eris, and as you can see on this video, this is going to be my brand new channel, and it will all be about side hustles, dropshipping or other things related to financial freedom. I will basically share everything in here, and as you have already seen from the title and the thumbnail of this video, this first video is going to be actually a detailed tutorial that will make you go from a complete beginner to a medium editor. So this will be about video editing and how to do video editing in general. The program that we will be using for today will be Premiere Pro, and as you can see in here, I've already opened a completely blank page because I want to show you everything, like how you can play around with the things in here and everything that you need to know as a complete beginner. So this will be a slow but step-by-step tutorial. For those of you that want to join my channel, feel free to press on subscribe in here. Make sure to turn that red, so there will be a lot of videos that will be coming up in this channel. For those of you that don't know me from my main channel, I'm actually based in Canada. I'm currently 26, and we will try to make it big with having, let's say, some good side hustles online, as I mentioned earlier. So in this channel we will try to build multiple streams of income, and if you are a person that want to do that, then this might be the right channel for you. So without wasting any time, the channel currently has not I have not uploaded any videos currently to it. So as you can see, there's basically no videos for you to see in here. So this will be our first video, since this channel was created just a couple of days ago. Without wasting any time, I will first explain you what video editing is. I guess you might know that already, but I will make you familiar with some of the current styles. And one of the main styles that you might have encountered or heard recently is the style of Emoji. As you can see in here, this is his channel with nearly 6 million subscribers now. And again, his channel is about a similar topic to mine. He's like a personal trainer, but not for training your body or something. He's a personal trainer for building a business. He's like a kind of high school dropout, even though I'm not sure if I would recommend or if I'd go for that option. So he has gone from the business of having some online leads all the way to advertising agencies. So we all know that Emoji has an agency of his own, all the way up to making $30 million by the age of 23. At least this is what he is claiming. But the reason why I'm bringing Emoji in front of you in here today is because of his editing style. Now, for copyright reasons, I cannot open any of these videos in here, but you can already see what his style is all about. In today's video, I'm going to put this on the thumbnail, most certainly, but here on this thumbnail here, for example, you can see his editing style, and we're going to replicate, or rather say, I will try to show you how you can replicate his own style in your own videos. Now, our video will be pretty simple. I will guide you through the basic things here in Premiere. For example, how you can make use of the effect control, lumetri scopes, the sources, the audio clip mixers, all the things about the project timelines, what happens if you move these things around, and everything about it. I will also show you some things about presets. As you can see, I've already created a lot of presets in here. I will show you how you can create or even incorporate presets, because if you go to YouTube, for example, there are going to be many videos or many people that show you editing, and they will give you like presets for free. And if you simply search for this, you're going to see that somewhere in the description of these videos you can find a lot of presets, and you can incorporate them into your own Premiere project. And that is something that I will show you how you can do that from different links that you can find on Premiere. Now again, rather than showing you, let's say, like things from let's say like a advanced editor, I will guide you from the most basic things to things like this one, for example, creating gradient texts, which a lot of people want to know how to use. Now, there might be many people that think that these are kind of super difficult stuff, like this text in here is all done in After Effects, but you can do this in Premiere as well, and I will show you how you can create gradient text, make it pop up from the bottom, create some lines, or even get some gradient lines, which is something very simple for you to do. Now, without wasting any time, I will jump straight into Premiere. So I will remove this one first and bring this other panel. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Premiere Pro, and this might be a very basic tutorial, this tab in here is the tab where you're going to see all of your project files being previewed. Now, as you can see, there are all of this stuff in here at the bottom, but that is kind of grayed out for now because we don't have a video yet. That will all become clickable once we have one of the videos, and I will show you my timeline or how I like to do my own videos. Now, in order for you to incorporate a video into Premiere, it is as simple as this. I'm bringing one of my folders in here, and I'm just going to grab one of my videos in here and drag and drop to this subfolder in here, which stays under the project. Now, by the way, guys, if any of you don't get the same tabs I'm getting right now, enough for you to click on this window file in here, and as you can see, there are a lot of things that you can choose from here. Right now I have selected the effects tab because that is one of the closest things according to what I like or how I like to edit my own videos. And if something is missing for you, for example, enough for you to check mark this thing, if you don't find effects control in here, for example, you're going to simply click on this one and it will show where it is on the screen. Like if I do it like this, for example, you're going to see that it's right here. By the way, I will guide you through all of the tabs in here, but as for now, I just want to incorporate one of the files in there because I want to make sure that you get the same thing or the same settings I'm getting. Now, to incorporate this or to put this into this tab, because I'm currently working with a dual monitor, that's why this thing is going on the left. But if you drag it here, you're going to see that it has become now part of this project in here. Now, if I drag this one, you're going to see the preview here all the way to the top. And in the same time, you can now see that the grayed out buttons that were currently grayed out a little bit earlier now are clickable. And you can even, let's say, command Premiere with this one. So as you can see, the timeline is now playing on my channel. But you can use, for example, for this one, you can use the space bar because this one is going to be like kind of your technique when you get started or when you get used to it. Now, as I normally like to do it, I don't like to have my timeline like this, so I will organize the timeline a little bit. So for the effects, I will put them on the left in here, and I will drag this one all the way, and I will put the lumetri colors here, and I like to keep them like this here on the left panel, because these are things that I know how to use or I know what I've created, and I can simply drag and drop this thing into my own Premiere project. Now I want to have the effects control and the program file separated from each other because I don't want to go like this from one to the other because that is going to waste so much time for you. So I will just hold this and bring this somewhere here at the top. Okay, so I will not put that. I will leave it like this. So I've got now effects control, which allows me to do everything with the clip in here. I've got the preview, I've got the effects and lumetri color, because don't worry, I will go through this one by one and I will explain all of this. I've got the project here. I can incorporate all the files that I might need in the future. I mean, I might need while I'm editing. And here I've got everything that I need to do. As you can see, I can move this toggle around and it will preview in real time everything that I've got in my video. Now, in case you're struggling with your computer, now my computer has got something like quite good specifics. It has like a 4 GB dedicated RTX NVIDIA card, which is kind of decent for Premiere, but if you've got a fairly cheap device, then you can certainly change this thing in here from full display. So this is basically only the preview of what you're getting on your video. So if you don't want to leave it on full because it's going to make your computer very slow and sluggish, then you can simply put the preview to 1/4 on or 1 second. I normally leave it on 1.5 because that's like half the quality of the preview. Now, to start from the basics, we will go through each of these tabs one by one. But for a basic editor, the basic things that they need to know is like things like cutting and removing unnecessary parts. Now let's say I'm going to preview this and I keep playing. By the way, this is only a 6 seconds clip because this is just, let's say this is just a kind of test that I'm going to go through. So I'm going to preview this one. Let me remove this one a little bit because it's like kind of bad for the eye. So I'm previewing this video. I like it till this part in here, and somehow I don't want to show my channel in here, or I don't want to show the part or one of the parts in here, let's say. So I want to cut 1 second from this video. Now in order to do that, you've got the tools here on the left. So this one is the selection tool, which is the shortcut with the shortcut V. This one is the track forward tool. I don't use this much often. This one is let's say like the ripple edit. I don't use this much either. And this one is the razor tool or the cut one. This one is the one that you're going to use all the time. So if I press cut in here, you're going to see that the mouse, I'm still with the mouse in here, as you can see, is going to change its shape. So I just need to click in here, and as you can see already on the part, it made one cut in here. So these are no longer one video. So we've got 2 separate videos in here, and I can drag this one, and if I play the video, if I play the timeline in here, you're going to see that there will be a blank space. To remove this blank space, if you do it accidentally, then you simply need to click on it till you see this grayed out area, and then just go backspace. It will go back to its place. Now if I want to remove only the part in here where I show, let's say like the description of my channel, if I want to do that, then I simply drag the timeline till the part I want it to be done, and then select the C tool again from the keyboard. Once I see that the mouse has changed its icon, I simply press in here, and then this one will be selected. If this mouse or ribbon, this blue ribbon in here, is moved all the way to the right, then you're going to see that the one that will be selected will no longer be the video clip that I want to remove, but will be the thing in here which I don't want to be deleted. So what I do is I just go backspace, click again till I see the grayed out area, and then just go back. So far I have just deleted something that I didn't want to be seen on the screen. Now I will just go back a few steps in here, and I will show you a simple trick. In order for you to do all of the steps that I did above, you can do them only in 2 clicks. So the first, you click cut like this, just drag or hover the mouse with, actually you need to drag it with the blue ribbon in here, and simply press Q from the keyboard, and it will do all the work of like this, of clicking, cutting, selecting, removing, and removing the backspace. So this is like a kind of pro tool that editors use, and it's called ripple delete. Now I use this all the time because my clips might be something like 20 or 30 minutes long, and I want to end up with a clip of 8 to 10 minutes on my main channel. Now by doing this, I will save myself just so much time, and it's super useful for editors that need to tackle huge project, let's say. So I will do it one more time. Just click somewhere in here, and this ripple delete thing will delete everything from here till the part that you see the blue ribbon. So I just press Q in here, and everything is going to be deleted. Now for those of you that want to play a little bit with the thing, let's suppose you like your video in here, but you don't like all the things that you're going to see here on the left. So let's suppose you want to zoom in a little bit, and you want to delete this part. Delete is not the right term, but let's say that you want to zoom in, and you don't want this part to be part of your video. So to do that, we're going to use the effects control. Now effects control is one of the tools or places on Premiere Pro that is used all the time. So there's basically no way for an editor to edit a video in Premiere without using these tools in here. So I will be very careful for a beginner like yourself to go through each of these and explain how they work. I'm going to explain some of the things in here, and also now we have gone into the second thing. So now you know the first part of the video was all about knowing how to incorporate, how to first, let's say, learn the Premiere, how to first see how Premiere works, how to move things around in here, just drag them. The second part was all about cutting and removing parts of the video that you don't know, together with incorporating a clip into your Premiere. While now we are moving slowly towards the third part, which is that of playing with whatever you've got on the screen with your video basically. So to do that, this thing in here is called motion. So with motion, you can move the video from left to right, and then go back to its main place. This thing in here is going to remove it up and down, as you can see, while scaling is going to help you with scaling the video. So this is going to scale actually everything, even if it is a video, or sometimes it might be a text, sometimes it might be, let's say, like something from the outside, because later I'm going to show you how you can make those cool animations with some kind of graphics, let's say. Now, without wasting any time, I will just go back to its normal part, so it's go back to its normal shape. So it's going to be around 100% on the default status. Now, if I want to remove this thing in here and leave my, by the way, I forgot about the rotation. So this thing is going to rotate your clip, and this thing is going to do the same thing, but I will explain why these are two different things. Now, let's suppose you want your video to have a kind of zoom and a kind of shape revert from this side to this side. If you do that with the position in here, then you might want to switch it a little bit, but that will not allow you because you are going to already create some keyframes. So this is a keyframe, and I will explain you what keyframes do. Now I will zoom in a little bit in here because I want to remove again this part in here. So I'm going to zoom in and then simply slide a little bit on the left side like this, sorry, on the right. Now I want to scale. I will put the center of my video in here, and I want to scale towards Iman Gadzi face because let's suppose I'm sharing something about him. So to do that, I have already created a keyframe. Now the keyframe works like this. From the moment the keyframe starts till the moment one keyframe ends, the effect will take place like this. So if I play this back like this, you're going to see that the zoom in will only happen between these two frames. So my clip is kind of short in here, as you can see, and the zoom in is happening here. Now if I put this keyframe, for example, a little bit earlier, the zoom in will start from here, as you can see on the main programs panel in here. And the same thing works for this. If it is like this, the effect will happen only between this part in here. So it starts here and it ends at this second toggle here. In order to get rid of this entire animation, let's say, I will just click on the small toggle icon in here and it's going to remove everything. However, you might notice that after we have done the animation, it will keep as reference everything or every number that falls under this little thing in here. So if I turn off the toggle animation at this part, then it will keep it as reference. If I turn it off in here, this is what it will keep as reference. Now I want the animation to be kind of smooth, so I want it all the way from the beginning till the end. So there's no animation here. Just wait a second, I need to fix something on this side. So it starts the animation from here, it goes all the way to this, and this one is no longer moving, this one is also no longer moving. Now if you want to make the animation, this is kind of a pro tip for you. If you want to make the animation kind of smoother, then you simply need to click on this one with the second mouse and then click ease in and then click again ease out. This will make your animation start smoothly, as you can see. So it does not give it the abrupt zoom in effect, as you can see, for a couple of, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 frames, and then all of a sudden the animation starts to be a little bit more fast paced. The same thing works for the animation here at the bottom. By the way, you might have noticed that the second point or the second toggle in here has already been removed. Why? Because I removed part of the video from the bottom towards the beginning. If I make this longer, here we're going to have our spot. Now I did that because here at this part you're going to see that we've got a kind of frame difference. So it goes from Iman Gadzi channel towards my channel, and if I leave the animation going like this and then it stops, it kind of feels wrong. So I will just put the toggle in here and then just make the clip this long. As you can see in here, we have managed to create a simple animation. So this kind of animation can be done manually as you saw in something like, I don't know, 5 minutes if you're a complete beginner. But for a professional editor, you can simply create a preset. Now, let's talk about presets. We have now come to the fourth part of this tutorial. If you're going to see on the presets, there are a lot of them in here. I've put the number 1 for them because these are the ones that I use most of the times, and I just don't want to waste time scrolling all the way to this thing in here, for example, and I've just put a 1 in the name. These are things that I've created. Now, if I want to create a preset from this thing, the preset will be basically this simple zoom in effect. I simply want to create a preset and just drag and drop this one towards my next project, because this is what a preset do. So it's kind of an effect, but it's ready-made for you, let's say. Now I come in here, select the motion one, and then just click the secondary mouse and then click save preset. Now I will put it a name, and the name will be 1AA zoom in Eris preset. So once I click save or OK, it's going to be shown in here. As you can see, here it is. Now this thing in here, for example, has got already nothing. Like this is a blank video. As you can see, it's got no effects, because the videos that have got an effect usually tend to turn into a yellow color in here, while this one is grayed out, which means it's blank. Basically this one has got no zoom effect, no position effect, no rotation, no effect on opacity, so nothing. Now if I simply drag and drop this one in here, you're going to see that the second video, this one, it has the same effect. So now I simply did the drop of 5 minutes in 1 second, and the same thing applies to everything in here. If I place this effect, for example, you're going to see that my video starts wobbling. I don't know if you can notice that from the PC, because I'm going to open this one a little bit. As you can see, it starts wobbling because this is a kind of CapCut effect that I have created on my Premiere Pro. If I play this one, this will be wobbling. So I will remove that effect and try to add another one. For example, this is a basic 3D effect. As you can see, this video is now on 3D, and I will show you how you can adjust that. Even though you create a preset, it does not mean that it's not adjustable. For example, everything you see in here is going to be adjustable and changed. Now with the 3D effects, you make use of the basic 3D effect, and it all resolves around swivel, tilt and distance. Now as you can see, I've already created a kind of animation with the swivel and distance towards center. How can you say that? Well, it's simple. The toggle animation here is turned on. Now from the very beginning here, it kind of comes closer to the left side and starts going away on the right side in here. If I turn off this toggle animation and play a little bit with this one in here, you can see that this simple screen recording is going to swivel from the left to the right, or from the right to the left, like this. This is kind of a pro feature, because the beginner editors are not supposed to know such things, but you can simply make use of the basic 3D effect from here, and that is this thing in here. Now you might not have, or you certainly don't have, the effects like this, because these are presets that I have either created myself, these 4 in here, or I have downloaded from other editors, in this case from Kyler Holland. So these guys tend to share presets all the time, as I mentioned earlier. Now you can do anything you want in here. I can also play with tilt, which sends it like this, or I can do something like this. Start from the very beginning, toggle both animations at this point, and then somewhere at the end I can make them go like this and the other way. And if I play this in the same time, this is what we get. In this way, we might have created a simple animation. Well, let's say the basic 3D is not that simple, but it's a good starting point. Now, if you want to remove all of this, so let's suppose you have worked for a couple of minutes and you absolutely don't like whatever you have created so far. So you want to remove everything. And in order to do that, you simply click on secondary mouse, and the fourth option here will be remove attributes. And this is going to basically remove everything, including motion and everything you've done with the motion, opacity, time remapping, and everything about effects. If you don't want to remove all of them, you can select only or leave selected only the ones that you want to remove. If I remove, for example, the everything apart from the basic 3D, this is what I'm going to get. So it has removed the motion, so that's why it's so big, and it has left everything else on screen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove motion as well. I can do that in the way I just taught you, by removing the attributes in here, or simply pressing on this basic 3D effect in here and simply going backspace. Now for the motion, I will put it back to 100, and this is what I'm going to get in front of me. So what I will do now is I will simply zoom in a little bit, because now we've come to the part where I want to show you something about colors. Now let's suppose that this one is not the color that I want it to be. So far on the first clip in here we have played with the zoom in effect and how you can make simple cuts and zooms. Now we're going to move on to the other part, that is basically changing colors. Now to do that, we go from the effects tab in here all the way to the Lumetri color. Now Lumetri color has got a lot of features. First of all, you're going to get in front of you the basic correction features. If I click on that one, the input LUT, now for those of you that don't know it, LUTs are kind of presets but for colors only, or for video. So right now I don't have any presets because most of my videos, even on the main channel, are shot on a simple studio. I don't usually nor use this because these are things that can be used for outside recording, or mostly for things related to videography or to weddings, or things that are normally related to cinema or cinematic views. If I change it to this, for example, you're going to see that the colors will drastically change. If we go through all of these are presets that have been downloaded but most certainly never used. So this is a kind of style that people might use. If we go back to YouTube in here, for example, you can see that Iman Gadzi might use some of his style. For example, this video in here is going to be kind of similar to this LUT. So he certainly uses LUT because he wants all of his videos to be cinematic. Now this is something, if I go to none, this is what my channel normally looks like. And if we come in here to my channel, you're going to see that this is, I'm using a simple cheap screen recorder right now, and you can see that this is what my channel looks like. If I go to Premiere, this is the closest to reality. However, if I change it, or if I first go to Iman Gadzi's channel, you're going to see that his channel looks something like completely different, something cinematic with all the blue and red lights in the background. And yes, in that case he can certainly use LUTs, but it does not make sense for you to use LUTs if you're simply doing a simple screen recording. If I change it to this, you're going to see that the color will certainly change. However, for now we will leave it to none. I just wanted to explain you what LUTs actually do to your channel. So we'll leave it to none, and the thing that we will most certainly need is the simple color correction. Now here you've got three things. You've got temperature, tint, and saturation. Normally, if you want to edit your video, you will not need to play with this. However, if you want to make this one, for example, black and white, simply pull the saturation all the way to the left towards 0, and you're going to see that your video is now black and white. Now let me show you how you can make this in a simple animation where you want your video to start in colors and then end up turning black and white. Now the way you might use it, or the way you might want it to be like that, might be quite different, and there might be a lot of different scenarios, but I will show you how to do it. Now the saturation went back to 100. I simply turn on the toggle in here and put the animation all the way towards the beginning. I want the video to turn black and white from the middle half towards the end. And what I do is I press this one and make the video all the way. Okay, I don't want to mix it like this. So what I will do is I will leave the video, better say 100 till here, and from here towards here it's going to become colorless, let's say. Now if I go back to my Lumetri colors, you're going to see that the video starts from here. Keep your eyes on the timeline and effects control. The video is going to start from here, and between these two toggles it will be completely colorful, so in its original color, full of colors. Now from here you can see that it now starts. If you check the saturation in here, you're going to see that it now starts to become colorless, and it will go all the way towards 0 from this point to this point in here, and then it will remain 0. Now the reason you might want to know this, or why you might use it, is because let's say you're showing something on the screen, you want to show how you failed, or you want to show how things were not working out. So it starts in colors and then boom, ends up in something like black and white. To remove all of this, just drag this thing at the very beginning and simply turn off the toggle animation, and it will keep whatever the animation was at that point, which was 100%. So there is no animation at this point. Now that is only about the black and white. If your video, let's say you're shooting outside and the image is, let's say, like in the middle of a park or something, and you see that there is a lot of green color, and your video looks something like this, completely green. You want to play a little bit with the tint, so sending it towards the purple area or the red area, or in cases where your video is kind of too cold, this is only about, let's say, mostly about temperature. So this is warm. If you're outside, you might need to switch this one on the left side. If you're inside and your video is too cold, then you might want to switch this one on the right side, because that one is going to make your video warmer. And if it's already too warm, just swipe it on the left a little bit, and it's going to make your colors colder. Now I normally prefer to leave this one on 0, because I like to do, let's say, like my white balance correction on my camera. While this might happen, or this might be a problem if you're a new editor and you're just having a clip from a random guy that has got absolutely no idea about white balance or how to do white balancing on his camera. And that might be a problem, because this is going to be like a thing that is going to make your editing look cheap, and most of the people expect you to edit the colors as well if they are, let's say, like too rubbish coming straight from the camera. Now I close this one, and if I open the light, here we're going to have some other basic corrections. For example, exposure. Normally it's left at 0.0. You can lower it. As you can see, the exposure on my screen is changing, or you can make it higher, but please be very careful. Do not exaggerate any of these numbers, because that means burning or making your clips feel like they're kind of burned. As you can see in here, this one, for example, is totally not normal, and a video as such would be nearly impossible to be viewed from the viewers. Now I normally leave this one in here. The contrasting might be good to be changed sometimes, increased in the cases when you don't have a lot of sharpness in your video. For the highlights, you can do it like this. I will leave everything in here to 0 again, in order for all of this stuff to make sense for us. And as you can see, here we are on shadows as well. So for the shadows, this one is a kind of black and white screen, so I will better move to this one in here, or okay, this one in here to better show you. So for the shadows, as you can see, I normally like to make them go towards the high end, because there, in most of the cases, there is a lot of black color, more than it needs to be. So I swipe this sometimes a little bit on the right side, and I do the same thing for the whites, because sometimes in most of the cases it happens that the videos come underexposed. I normally lower the blacks a little bit. So I close the light in here. Now this is the part where most of the people might get overwhelmed. Uh, this is kind of a job for video editors that have got a lot of experience in videos, but if you play with the colors in here, you're going to see that things will change towards whatever you swivel this little mouse in here. As you can see, it will go all the way from yellow towards blue on this side, or from green towards red on this other side. Now you can certainly not leave it like this. You might need to play with this one specifically about the faces. Now I will leave everything in here as it was, so leave it towards the center, because I don't want to put it, let's say, like anywhere in here. So I will just leave it on this side. Now I'm going to show you something that, as promised from the very beginning, when I told you about Iman Gadzi, we saw one of his videos in here, and I was showing you how we are going to actually I will teach you today how to do this gradient text in order for your Premiere editing to seem like they are, let's say, expensive. So gradient text normally are done in After Effects, but I will show you how you can come up with some very cool text straight out of Premiere. Now, what I want to do, I started my video in here and I was introducing my channel to you. I was talking about how this is my new channel and what this channel will be about differently from the main one. And let's suppose that I want to introduce a kind of subscribe to this one. So you want to enter a subscribe thing that will kind of pop up from the bottom. Now to do that is fairly cheap, and it's fairly simple and actually cheap, so it's not something that is going to be very expensive, or it's not something that is going to take a lot of time. So to do that, we're just going to simply click on this type tool. You can come up with this even if you press T from the keyboard. So I just now pressed T, or simply clicked on this one in here. What I will do is I'm going to click subscribe from the keyboard. Now I normally prefer to do it in capitals, so here we've got a simple subscribe text. Now from the panel in here you can see that we have now got, I will close this one, so this one is only to be shown. Okay, I can leave it towards the end. This one is a graphic, so this one is going to be a different color from the other one. By the way, now that we have got two colors, I will explain you something very important about Premiere. It might happen that some of your clips in here will become mixed with one another. So let's say this clip is in here and you might be wondering, I've got to subscribe, why I don't see it here but see it here? The question to that, or the answer to that question, is pretty simple. Premiere works like After Effects or other editing tool. Premiere works on layers, so whatever is on top is shown on the screen. Whatever is on the bottom might be hidden. Since this layer in here, for example, is complete, we are not going to be able to see the subscribe button, while we can see in here because subscribe button is above our video. Now to make some changes, for example, if I toggle off this icon in here, I can now unsee, or I don't see the subscribe button. If I do the same in here for this other video and put this at the top, I simply click on the eye in here. Now I can only see the subscribe but not our video. So we put both of these on the bottom here, and now I can see subscribe and I can see the our main video in here. Now this subscribe text on the screen, if I simply play it, it simply shows, and it's not cool, or it's not something that attracts attention. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I will change its font. Now different versions of Premiere might have it different, but starting from 2021 and after, you can find the graphics motions here on the left side, normally under effects control. So if you click on this toggle, not on the eye because the eye will make it unviewable, as you can see, but on this toggle in here, it's going to open up all sorts of changes about the text. Now, I normally like to change the font first. As you can see, there are a lot of fonts for you to choose from. I normally prefer the impact font, so I search for it. And here we have the impact font, which is a cool font, already cooler than the one that we already had. So what I'm going to do now, I might need to change its color. But before that, as you can see, the text on the screen is a little bit too big. So I will make it smaller and put it somewhere here. Now, the white color is not that attracts a lot of attention. So what I'm going to do is I will change its color. So to make it look cheap, and we don't want that, I can simply change it to something like this and might say that, hey, this text looks cool, but not. Simply because this is a strong color and most of the people connect the strong red color with old editing style. So what I will be doing is I click on this and change the fill option from solid to linear gradient. So what I'm going to do now is, as you can see, my text has already got a cool color on the bottom. So on the bottom it's like kind of white and on the top it's red. So that happens because I've got the gradient in here and I can change it. As you can see, all the changes will be reflected or let's say seen in real time on the text in here. So what I will be doing is I will moving this one, but most importantly I will change this color in here to something like a little bit towards the black end. So I click it and I see if I'm happy with this one. It's kind of a little bit unnoticeable, so I start playing with it again till I find something that seems cool, like this one, for example. This one is certainly better than the other one and it's a little bit similar to what you see in here. For example, if I want to replicate exactly the $0 thing in here, let me do it because it's fairly simple. I select all of this, select the fill, and put this one towards the white end and this one towards the red end. And as you can see, here it is. So this is exactly like Iman Gadzi video in here. And as you can see, this one is already created in Premiere. It's quite simple. Now, I like mine better, so I will just go back to this original design and just leave it as it is. But if I preview this one, the subscribe button simply pops up in the middle of the screen and I don't like it like that, so I want a kind of animation for it to happen. Now to do that, it's pretty simple. I will click on position in here and then just drag and drop this one to the bottom of the screen where it's going to be hidden. Then I will put this one at the very beginning of the animation and just go a few slides ahead and then bring this one towards the center. Now if I play this one, this is what I'm going to get. So I play this one more time and the pop-up just shows from the bottom towards the center of the screen. However, if you play this one back, you're going to see that this one feels almost like one of those old style PowerPoint presentation with little to no life. So what we're going to be doing in this case, we need to add something else. So we go to the effects control and search for Gaussian blur. Now Gaussian blur will give this one the effect of movement, because something happens when things move around on the screen. They normally need to have some kind of Gaussian blur in order for us to have, let's say, like a kind of justified movement. Now we scroll down a few moments in here, just bear with me, and we're going to have the Gaussian blur in here. Now we're going to start the Gaussian blur with a rate of something like, let me see. By the way, we need to change the Gaussian blur from horizontal and vertical to simply vertical, because this is the movement. If we're going to enter the subscribe animation from this panel, from the left or the right, then it must be something like horizontal. If we're going to enter it from the top or from the bottom, then the Gaussian blur, in order for it to be justified, it needs to be vertical. So I will put it to vertical, and let's say put the Gaussian blur to something like 37. Toggle the animation here, go all the way to the bottom, and here I will just send it back to 0. Now when I play this one, as you can see, it certainly feels a little bit more natural, because it has Gaussian blur now. But still, there is something missing about this animation, and is the fact that it starts and ends with the same speed, which is not cool. Normally, things or animations need to start with a slow speed, then speed up, and then still end with a slow end, because that is, they need to kind of be slower towards the beginning and the end. So to do that, we click on the subscribe button and select four of these in here, and click on temporal interpolation and click on ease in, and then we do the same thing and click on ease out. Now when we play back this one, as you can see, it feels way better. Now it starts slowly, as you can see, is fast here, and then slows down again. Like I think it's going like I think it's kind of going, let's say, towards its place. If I play this one, here it is. Now I will show you how you can do the same thing for emojis. Now let's suppose I've got the subscribe button in here, but I don't have a subscribe. In this case, I close this one, and on the other clip in here, I want to show something different. By the way, now we've come to the part where I need to show you a simple trick. If I want to have all these settings in here on my next clip, which is this one, like the zoom and the part where I remove all of this, but I just don't want to do it again manually simply by scaling like this, or moving from the left or from up and above from this one, like from the left to the right, and I don't want to do it all of it manually. I simply go to this clip, copy motion, and then simply paste it on effects. And as you can see, it has already gone to this other one. It almost feels like this one is the same clip. Now what I want to do is I will incorporate something else, which is an emoji. This one is an emoji from a sad YouTube face that I've generated using ChatGPT, which is in 3D. What I want to do is I want this emoji to be shown from the bottom of the screen, or in this case it might be shown even from the left to the right and towards the center, because you might have seen that these emojis come up on some of Iman Gadzit videos all the time. If I play one of his videos, for example, you're going to see that there are emojis coming up and down all the time, usually at the very beginning of the video, and that's exactly what I want to replicate today. So if I come in here, first of all, I will click on the V and I will make this one slightly smaller. Now let's suppose I'm talking about something and blah blah blah, and I will be talking about the fact how YouTube is difficult, and one of my videos got recently deleted, let's say, and that's the emoji I want to enter in order to make this video more interactive for the viewer. Now to do that, I will simply toggle on the position frame, so I'm teaching you the fundamentals of motion in here, and just send this one all the way to the bottom till it's hidden, because this one needs to come out of the screen. And then I send this from the very beginning, so the animation will start here. If this one, for example, is here, the animation will start here, but it does not make sense for an emoji, a video, or a text to show from the middle of the screen. So it needs to come from somewhere, let's say like outside, and I will leave it here exactly, and then toggle the animation, which I've already done, and then send the keyframes a few moments ahead. So let's suppose I want a slow animation and I want it to end here. Now what I do is I simply bring this emoji at the very top like this. Now in this way I've got this simple animation, but again, just like with the subscribe text we did earlier, it is very unnatural. So as you can see, it comes like a slide presentation, and that is not a cool editing style. So if I play it again, that does not seem very expensive, it seems absolutely cheap. So what I will do one more time, I will go to the effects control in here and search for Gaussian blur. Now I've already got a few presets in here, but I don't want to use them because I want you to understand how you can actually create these things yourself. And once you get the basic of it, then you can certainly create as many animations as you need. So I've got the Gaussian blur in here now. So the Gaussian blur needs to start with something like this. I will leave it to something like 70, let's say 70 here. And then again, this animation is coming all the way from the bottom towards the center of the screen. So the movement of the Gaussian blur needs to be horizontal. So if I click on, it needs to be vertical. So this one makes sense. As you can see, it's kind of like it's moving up and down like this. As you can see, it moves up and down, and it makes sense for the blur to be in this direction. I will explain in a while the anchor points and why this is something completely different from this one, as I told you from the very beginning of this video, because there are a lot of cases when people think this is the same thing just because it moves the animation, the text and the videos in the same direction, but it's certainly not the same thing, and I will show you why once I'm done with this animation. So what we'll do is we'll leave the blurriness to 70, click on the toggle animation and send this one all the way to beginning. Now make sure the keyframes needs to match in here. So this one needs to be exactly where the motion ends, because it does not make sense for the blur to be there present even after the icon stops at the center of the screen. So the blur needs to be there present for as long as there is a movement. When the movement stops, the blur needs to stop as well. So I will send the blurriness all the way to 0. If I play this one, this is what we get. So this is already a cool animation and an already a justified one. However, in order to make it more natural, like the subscribe button we did earlier, I click on this one, select these two in here and click on ease in and click on ease out. Do the same thing for the intro animation, ease in and then ease out. And when I play this one, this already feels better. Now, if I want to make this animation longer, I simply select both of these, and when I play it, it comes up like this. If I want to make it faster, I bring this one closer together and it's this fast, but that fast is not natural, so I will leave it to something like this. Now, please be very careful. If your animation ends here, for example, and let me preview it to you, but there is still blur on the screen, it's kind of does not make sense. Let me put this one to the full screen so you can see the full picture here. There's still blur, but it's an unjustified blur. So the blur again needs to be on the screen for as long as there is movement. So here it is, a little bit slow, so let me put it like this. Okay, so now, but in some cases the blur might even end earlier. Okay, so here it is. So now we are happy with this animation. Now, let's suppose that in this moment I want this animation to be somewhere different on the screen. So I don't want it to be on this part anymore, but I want to be somewhere here. Now, if I simply move it with these buttons, for example, this is what will happen. It goes here and then moves, which is kind of wrong. So I don't want it to do this. I want it to start from here and go here. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to use the anchor point. That's why this one is completely different from the position animation here. So what I will do is I will just go back using Ctrl plus Z, and I've already removed the toggle here, the point, and now I will simply use the anchor point animation. So I send this one all the way to the right, and let's suppose I want it to start from here and end here, or somewhere on the left just under my profile picture in here, and I might want it to be smaller and move this one. Let's suppose that I want it here. Now when I start the animation, this happens. It starts here and goes here. It's not that it starts from the bottom here, goes to the center and then comes back like with the position. That's why the anchor point is very important, and it's something completely different from the position keyframes. So let's play this one more time, and this is what we get in front of us. So far in this tutorial, guys, I've taught you how you can actually cut, how you can zoom in using this animation in here, how you can introduce simple text using the gradient color. Also, if you want to make the text, for example, now that I'm noticing it, if you want to make it a little bit more distinctive, and if you want it to be shown a little bit more on the screen, then you simply click on the shadow in here. As you can see, it has got a cool shadow. I set this one to 100% and it's already cooler. Now, I want to show you something else close to Iman Gadzhi style. If you're going to see on some of his videos, you will notice that in most of the cases, his icons or texts have a kind of glow. Now, this kind of glow is normally done on After Effects, but you can do the same thing on Premiere, and let me show you how to do that as part of our tutorial, and this is the 6th thing we are learning as complete beginners. In order for you actually to be able to edit in a kind of Iman Gadzhi similar style. Now let's suppose I don't have the shadow in here and I simply have got this text. Now I want to make my subscribe button, or this, let's say this said icon in here, better say, a little bit more glowy. Now to do that, I will duplicate this layer, or not this layer, but I will actually duplicate this PNG or this icon. How you can do that? It's quite simple. Simply click on it using the mouse and then simply hold Alt from the keyboard and then just drag and drop to the top. So I'll do it one more time. So this is, I've got nothing selected in here. I will click on it, hold Alt, and then just drag and drop. Right now, I've got two things on the screen. So I've got two completely different graphics. If I move this one on one side, for example, here you can see that there are already two of them. Okay, so what I will do now, in order to add some glow, at least this is my way, so this is how I do it. I will come in here, click on Gaussian blur and add some Gaussian blur on the layer that is on the bottom. If I add this one on the top, it will not work, trust me. Only at the one that is on the bottom. And what I do next, I simply increase the blurriness. Okay, take a look at it. So as I increase the blurriness, okay, not like this because it's too much, but like this. So you can notice a kind of glow coming in the background. And that is a super cool and easy way to do it. And by the way, if you take a look at my presets in here, you're going to see that if I click on 20, you're going to see that I've got a blur 20, sorry. If I click on 50, you're going to see that I've got a blur 50. So for example, here it's on 50 on my case, and this is the blur that I get. If I go to 20, this is the blur that I get. It's a little bit unnoticeable. Now, why I've created two presets and why I've stopped actually created presets for blurriness is because every icon is different and I can change it, or I need to actually change it, this one, depending on what icon I get it. If I get a super high resolution icon, I certainly need to increase blurriness more in order for this entire halo glowy thing to be noticeable. If I've got some cheap let's say removed background from a cheap website somewhere on the internet kind of icon, then I certainly need to have, let's say, like a blurriness of 20 or 50, and I will get enough halo. For this one, I will leave it to something like 100, 120, and the glow comes like this. If I play it, here it is. According to me, this one seems super cool, and make your editing seem like something fairly beautiful. Now, if you want, for example, this one, I will remove the bottom layer, leave only this one, place it again using the anchor points towards the center of the screen, and also make it a little bit bigger. Now, in some of Iman Gadzhi videos, you might have noticed that he does something like this. I don't know if I can notice it in one of his videos recently, the thing with the zoom in, but also the thing with the, let's say, the kind of let's say opacity thing, where something comes on the screen. In order for us to leave the entire attention to this icon in here, we might need to make the background feel less interesting or actually feel less in the center of the attention. And how we can do that? Simply using the opacity feature. And let me show you again, because by now I'm pretty certain that all of you have got a sense of how opacity, or basically not opacity, but how toggling and how animation works. And it's the same logic for all of them. Now I will toggle the animation here. Let's say my kind of sad reaction or sad red block character does not start here, but it actually starts somewhere here. So I'm talking, blah blah blah, and then I say, hey, you know what, my YouTube video recently got deleted and I want this thing to come on the screen. But in the same time, I wanted that when this thing comes on the screen, and I will make the animation a little bit faster here, like this, and when this thing comes on the screen, I want the entire attention to be on it. So what I will do is I will come in here, click on the toggle animation. The opacity will be currently at 100%, a few steps forward, and by the time this icon is introduced on the screen, I will need to lower this one like this. So I will put it up to, let's say, 30%. And then by the time this one is on the center, the animation of the opacity must be finished. So when I play this one, this is what I get, and this is super cool. Now this is a pro feature, but you're might need to incorporate this one, because this will make your editings look so much more expensive. So if I play this one more time, this one only, I'm talking blah blah blah, my video deleted, and here you can see how much this one is on the center of the screen, or on the center of the attention. If I add some blur as well, for example the 50 Gaussian blur in here, with the thing that I just did, it's going to be even more noticeable. So here it is, and it looks super cool, and it looks like this thing has come out straight out of After Effects. But in fact, you can do this one simply using a simple project like Premiere, as I already told you. So one more time, a quick recap about this video, guys. As you can see in here, I already taught you how you can actually scale. So the scaling go from this towards this, towards whatever you want to see on the screen. By the way, let me show you a simple cool trick towards the end of this video. If I double click on this video, you can see this thing in here. The zoom will go whenever this thing is. If I place this one in here, for example, and play the zoom, you see it goes there. Double click again, and then I send this one on the other side, because let's suppose I'm talking about my channel, blah blah blah, I'm talking about the fact that I'm offering a course. Let's suppose I'm Iman Gadzi, and then the video goes here, and when I play it, you see where it goes to this way, and then I will just go back. If I want it to be on this way, simply play it again and it goes on that side. But please be very careful, because whenever this thing is, the animation will be completely on the opposite side. I simply didn't want these things on the left to be shown, so that's why I put the animation on this side. But when I moved it, then I just saw that these things just came back. So whenever you do an animation, make sure to put the toggle at the very beginning and then at the very end to see whatever you have animated. So one more time, guys, for those of you that made it till the end of this video, we have already taught you 7 things. So the zoom, the simple principles of zooming, cutting, and all the different panels on Premiere Pro. Then I show you how you can create some Iman Gadzi styles just like this, some text like this, which were pretty simple using the gradient colors here on Premiere. I told you how to do that using the linear gradient panel to create a simple text just like Iman, as you can see on one of his thumbnails in here, and he actually uses this style on his videos all the time. Also, I told you how you can actually do a simple animation using the ease in and ease out effects in order for these entire animations to be quite natural. And then I showed you how you can actually do the icons in the screen, also playing a little bit with the opacity. So I'm pretty certain that by now you've got a better idea of the principles of editing, the the simple cuts and everything, how you can create presets, and how you can edit a simple videos yourself and make it look expensive, like it came out of Premiere Pro. Now, like it came out of After Effects, sorry. Now, by the way, this is only the first video on my channel. Make sure to subscribe to it, because there might be other videos that are going to be, there will be actually other videos related to dropshipping, side hustles, investing, and a lot more, together with a lot of tutorials of me showing how I actually edit my videos and how we can actually work, because dreams plus actions means success. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and feel free to turn on the notification bell, and hope to see you guys on the next one.